The revelation. High Commander Zithrak sat in his plush command chair, overlooking the dim glow of stars outside the flagship's panoramic windows. His many eyes blinked in synchronized bewilderment as the latest report came in. The sprawling control deck of the ship buzzed with activity as subordinates diligently monitored systems and relayed updates, unaware of the revelation about to hit their leader. Zithrak's elongated, scaled fingers fumbled with the communication tablet as he processed the message. His normally smooth, emerald skin had taken on a curious shade of iridescence, indicating rising confusion. He read it again, as if the translation was somehow wrong. So, one of our daughters learned human mechanics and is rewiring ships? His voice boomed across the command center, cutting through the regular chatter. The officers froze. Some dared a glance over their shoulder, others held their breath. The commander's disbelief was palpable. It wasn't a reprimand. It was sheer incomprehension. A timid voice finally spoke from behind the commander. "Why, yes, High Commander. She's been working in the hangar bay for the past week, modifying everything." Zithrak turned sharply, his 6 eyes narrowing on the source of the voice, a junior officer who clearly wished to be anywhere but standing in front of him. "Explain yourself," Zithrak demanded. The officer gulped. "Commander, Yeleth, your second daughter, has been, experimenting with our technology. She's integrated human techniques into our ship systems." "Human techniques?" Zithrak growled. He leaned forward. "What could those primitive apes possibly have that we do not?" "Well, sir," the officer hesitated, glancing at the data pad. "She's been studying them. Apparently, she's become fascinated with their improvisation skills, their, knack for making things work with limited resources. She calls it mechanical ingenuity." Zithrak's mandibles clicked in annoyance. His race, the Xirillian, were known for their advanced technology, surpassing many species. The idea that humans, barely capable of interstellar travel, could offer anything of value was absurd. "Take me to her," the commander demanded, rising from his seat. The innovator. The hangar bay was a bustling hive of activity as Zithrak and his officers arrived. Among the orderly chaos, one figure stood out. Yeleth, his daughter, was hunched over the belly of a sleek fighter craft, her multiple limbs moving in precise harmony as she worked with a welding tool. Sparks flew, casting her pale scales in a golden hue. "Yeleth!" Zithrak's voice boomed through the hangar, silencing the surrounding engineers. Yeleth looked up, her bright lavender eyes wide with surprise before a mischievous grin spread across her face. "Father, I wasn't expecting you. What is this nonsense I hear about you integrating human mechanics into our ships? What do you think you're doing?" His voice was a mix of confusion, disbelief, and, deep down, a hint of curiosity. Yeleth stood, wiping her hands on her tunic. "Improving them?" Zithrak's eyes narrowed. "Improving?" "Yes." Yeleth tapped on the sleek hull of the fighter. "Humans have a certain ability. Their engineering solutions are creative, adaptable. They can make things work even when the right tools or materials aren't available. It's something our systems lack." Zithrak scoffed. "Our technology is flawless. It's efficient," Yeleth agreed, "but it's rigid. Perfect in controlled environments, but when things go wrong, like in battle, or when resources are scarce, we struggle to adapt. That's where human mechanics shine. I've been rewiring the fighters using their hybrid techniques. It's increased our efficiency by 12%. 12%, Zithrak's voice trailed off. He couldn't deny the figures. 12% was significant, but his pride as a Xirillian warlord bristled at the idea that humans, of all species, could teach them anything. "How exactly?" he finally asked, his tone softening. Yeleth's smile grew. She gestured to a nearby control panel. "Their ships are designed to allow for manual overrides, quick repairs, and redundant systems that can be patched on the fly. I've integrated some of their modularity into our fighters. If systems fail mid-combat, they can be rerouted in seconds. The humans are experts at working with what they have, while we rely too much on pristine technology." Zithrak stared at the panel, deep in thought. For generations, the Xirillian Empire had conquered worlds through sheer technological superiority. But Yeleth's words gnawed at him. He had witnessed it himself. The human ships, although seemingly inferior, were devilishly hard to destroy. They adapted. And this works? He asked, his pride now taking a back seat to genuine curiosity. Yeleth nodded, activating a display on the panel. See for yourself. I ran simulations using our traditional systems and the human-inspired modifications. The response time in crisis scenarios improved. Damage control became almost intuitive. The ship's internal AI can adapt on the fly, similar to how human engineers manually override systems during emergencies. Zithrak's mandibles twitched. He could feel the eyes of his officers on him. Admitting that Yeleth's experiments were valuable would be seen as a blow to Xirillian superiority. But ignoring progress was a greater sin. How many ships have you enhanced? 3 fighters, and I'm working on one of the cruisers. Zithrak sighed. This is unorthodox, Yeleth. If the Council hears of this, they'll see the results. Numbers don't lie, Yeleth interrupted. Her voice carried confidence, and Zithrak couldn't help but feel a swell of pride. Very well, Zithrak finally said. Continue your work, but keep this quiet. I'll deal with the Council. Yeleth's eyes sparkled. Thank you, Father. You won't regret this. The battle test. 2 weeks later, the Xirillian fleet found itself in a fierce battle against a rival faction. Their adversaries had developed a new type of energy weapon, one that their traditional shielding couldn't fully repel. As the battle intensified, one of the cruisers took a direct hit, its systems faltering. Zithrak, aboard the flagship, watched in horror as vital systems on the cruiser began to fail. But then, something remarkable happened. The ship's systems rerouted, the shields recalibrated, and the cruiser regained control in a matter of moments. That's Yeleth's cruiser, one of the officers exclaimed. Zithrak's many eyes widened. The human modifications had worked. The ship, against all odds, had adapted to the crisis. It survived where others might have fallen. Prepare the fleet, Zithrak commanded, his voice firm, but now laced with a new kind of respect. We're adopting her modifications fleet-wide. Epilogue, a new path. The battle was won, and Yeleth's innovations became the foundation for the Xirillian fleet's next evolution. Though the Council had initially balked at the idea of using human-inspired designs, the results were undeniable. Zithrak stood in the command center once more, gazing out into the stars. This time, however, his expression was one of pride and curiosity. His daughter had not only learned from the humans, but had shown him that even the greatest empires could learn something new. Perhaps, in their quest for perfection, the Xirillians had overlooked the value of adaptability. And now, thanks to Yeleth and her fascination with human mechanics, they were stronger than ever before.